I'm out in the Okefenokee Swamp today and doing a little canoeing, doing a little exploration, and I had a friend of mine ask me to do a video on what I carry in my day pack, and so I'm going to do that video today, and then I'll do another one on my camping pack at a later date. But you might see something in here that you think it'll be a good idea for you to carry, and you might have some good ideas for me to add to my pack. I don't mind a few extra pounds anyway. But at any rate, hope you enjoy the video. I sure do appreciate you watching. Today we're going to take a look at what's inside the full day pack. And when I say day pack, I mean this is what I take with me if I'm leaving just to go somewhere for one day. If I'm traveling in my car, I've got this bag. If I go on a long trip, short trip, doesn't matter, I've got this bag in my truck at all times. And I guess we'll start with the top here. Extra cover. Sometimes I've got this rolled up inside, sometimes I've got it on my head. I'll either be wearing one of these two. Once you get one good and sweaty, it just fits right. And so if I've got one on my head, I've got the other in the pack or rolled up someplace where I can get to it real quick. Both of these styles of hats have its purpose. And then I've got my Camelback strapped on here today, and I don't always have this. I've got a Molly type that's on the back of my plate carrier, but this one's just a regular pack style where you can use it by itself. So I've got it attached by these they're called S binders. Night Eyes makes it. Let's see if I can get you a good shot here. Sorry for twisting and turning the camera. It says S binder on there. It's just a S clip there, and I attach my hat that way and attach this water bottle this way, and then I've got a regular carabiner on this side that I pull my drinking tube through. Normally holds that real good, especially while you're walking. And I've got an extra canteen here. It happens to be empty right now because I've been out on the canoe today. But at any rate, got the canteen here, got the Camelback here, and also you'll see inside the pack I have some bottles of water. And I don't care if it gets hot, I don't care if it's cold, I don't care what temperature the water is. Now, if you go out, especially here, like it's 96 degrees today, if you go out here today, that canteen's going to be gone in just a minute. So this Camelback, just to give you a sense of what it holds, two 16-ounce bottles of water will fill it right up to the neck here. You can turn it up on its side and put a little bit more in it and get it closed before it spills out. But about 2 bottles of water in your Camelback, 32 ounces, something like that. There are different sizes of these. I've got 3 of these Camelbacks. I've got one with the Molly strap on the back so I can attach it to my plate carrier. I can also attach it to this pack here, but I choose to connect this particular Camelback by way of these S binders. So we've been through the water bottles. I've got bottles of water, plastic bottles of water inside. Alright, and over here on this side I've got a hatchet, and I've got a Bear Grylls knife, which is attached by a plastic strap there. Now I've got a hatchet here, and I've got a tomahawk here, and of course I don't know if you've seen that video or not, but that's tomahawk's something different from a hatchet, and so I choose to carry both. I've got a knife here, survival knife. That's pretty good, like I said, Bear Grylls. But also I have a knife that I carry here. And so I have these on here because I don't always have this pack in the woods. Like I say, if I'm on a trip or something, this bag's with me, and I don't generally carry a big knife on my side, so that's there if I need it. Go up here and look in this top pocket. Chapstick. Can't beat that. Got a little pad here for cleaning purposes. If you're out in the woods a couple nights, or if you get stuck in the woods a couple nights, that can be real good for cleaning pots and what have you. And I'll show you what I've got in, as far as pots go, in a little bit. But just something to clean off. You could even, if you had to, clean a knife or the outside of a gun or something to that effect. You can always use this for cleaning several different items. And then I carry this. Even though I have a couple of knives, I still carry this just because I seen it laying there on my dresser one day, and I decided, hey, I'm going to start carrying that around in my pack. So I did. I haven't used it for anything yet, but paracord, different things like that. You may need to cut. I don't know what reason in the wilderness you wouldn't have a knife handy, but if that's the case, then there that is. I've got a watchmaker's screwdriver here, and this is just in case I need to work on a rifle or a pistol or something to that effect, something small, some piece of my equipment that may have a screw or something to that effect. You never can tell what you might need a small tool for out in the wilderness. I've even dug splinters out of my thumb with this thing before, so whatever use you can find for them. It's better to have a tool with you than be looking for a tool that you don't have. Got a can opener here in case I need that. Tweezers. John Wayne. Like I say, tweezers. Good for splinters and first aid and whatnot. That really should be in my first aid kit, but I have one in my first aid kit. Got a green filter for my small flashlight. Fingernail clippers. Self-explanatory. Pocket number 2 here coming down the pack. I only ever keep one thing in this pocket, and that's my fork and my spoon. So that's pretty self-explanatory. I keep it in here. I used to keep in this same pocket, I had a case knife that was camouflage, and I noticed that it was starting to rust and corrode a little bit. I didn't like that. I thought it was a better knife than that. I don't mean the blade, I mean the metal on the back side of the knife. It was a trapper style case knife, and those things have stainless steel blades or different carbon blades, and sometimes those blades that are not stainless steel will turn colors and different stuff like that, and that really doesn't matter to me. But I've never had one where the metal on the back side of the frame started to rust, and that one did. So I took it out. Down here to the front pocket, I've got a little pack here. Now I've got 3 of these packs in my pack all together. 3 of these packs in my pack. I've got 3 of these all together, and they're used for different purposes. You can see this one says fish, and we'll look through that in just a second. Alright, I got a Schrade old timer tool for my knives to keep my knives sharp. It's got a rough end and a finer grain side to it. That's the fine side, that's the rough side, and get that snap back in there. That's to keep my knives sharp. Plastic sealable bag that I can use if I need it. I have the sights to my M4, the iron sights. Never can tell when you'll need those. I prefer those actually. various types of paracord or shoestrings, or that happens to be I got a Marine Corps sweatshirt that came out of. If I have a sweatshirt, I usually pull that string out of it. And then I got some other types of string there. Here I've got a sewing kit, and this has got, forgive me for the camera movement, all kinds of bugs out here in the swamp. But a sewing kit that's got several different kinds of needles in it and a couple different kinds of thread. Olive drab and black and brown and different stuff like that. So I'll just put that back in there. I think I've moved everything else on the inside. I did have a bunch of stuff in these pockets, but if you get your pack full, then these pockets are hard to access. So what I did was I transferred everything that was in these pockets into this style pack here, and it fits a little better. Now inside this other pocket here, about forgot to show you this. This is an oiler for a Nagant, that old Russian rifle. But what I've done is I've taken and I've put my CLP in this, and I put the CLP, I don't know what that bug is, but anyway, I put CLP in both sides of it. That Nagant oiler, it takes cleaner on one side, lubricant on the other, and I don't know if I got that right or not, but at any rate, I just filled both sides up with CLP. Use that for my rifle. Got some earplugs down in there. So never can tell when you'll need those. Alright, I told you I had this little fish pack here. You can see my little dead fish there. But at any rate, got it simple in here. I've got fishing line, I've got fishing hooks, I've got maybe one or two. I think I got one little float there. I've got some lead sinkers down in the bottom, and I've got a compass there. If I'm using this, then I'm really overnight instead of just a day trip, but you never can tell when a day trip can turn into an overnight trip. So I've got this fishing gear here, and I don't need a fishing pole, and you don't need a fishing pole to catch fish. You can just throw the line in there and wrap it around a stick that you can handle on both sides, and wrap that fishing line around that stick, and then if you catch a fish you can pull it in like that. You could do it barehanded, but if you got a big one you might cut your hand with the fishing line. But like I say, you can take a little piece of a stick, maybe about 10 inches long, and wrap the fishing line right around the center of it and hold on to it on both sides of the line, and then it's nothing if you catch the fish. If you get a fish on the hook, just run that line around that wooden handle until you take up all the slack, get your fish. A lot of different ways to do that. You can do it any way you want to. It doesn't really matter, just so long as you get the fish to the shore and then get him in your belly. Now we'll go inside the big pocket, and first aid kit. First and foremost, you got tweezers, you got scissors, you got bandages of all sorts and sizes, you've got ointments for bee stings, you've got ointments for poison ivy, you've got antiseptic ointments, you've got all kinds of stuff in this little bag here, and you can get them. You can get these all shapes, all sizes, 200 items, 50 items, 250 items, 300 items. I've seen them of all shapes and sizes, and I've got some bigger ones myself, but I only carry the bigger one when I'm carrying the bigger pack because it takes up a lot of room. Toilet paper. That's self-explanatory. This one's been in here a while, but that's self-explanatory there. You might spill your Coke on your dash on your way going to some place, and you might need a napkin to wipe something up with. So self-explanatory. Then here we got this little Stanley cup here, and this Opens around like that and fastens. If you want to close it, you squeeze it together and close it back. But inside this pot here, you got a couple of cups, and you can boil water in here and boil some kind of vegetation if you want to eat. You can do all kinds of things in this little thing. So that's neat to have. And to go along with that, I've got this guy. If you've been in the military, you probably know what this is. But this is my frying pan for fish. U.S. military knife for eating. I don't need the military fork and knife that goes with that because I've showed you that already. And then I've got my plate for eating. I suppose vegetable side and fish side. Squirrel, whatever you're going to eat when you're out surviving. And like I say, this is just my day pack. But if I go on an overnight, I'll switch these things out into that overnight pack. But I keep them in my day pack just in case. Like I say, you can never tell when you're going to run into some trouble. My health and hygiene bag here. I've got scissors and tweezers here, a toothbrush, and of course I've got scissors and tweezers in my first aid kit, and I've got tweezers in this bag. So I've got a couple of places I can go to for those items. A toothbrush, and I broke it in half so it fit inside this bag here. And I've got a couple of different kind of vitamins. Now if you got room and the shoulders to carry a ton of stuff, then you go ahead and bring as many as you want. I mean, if you get out in the woods, you're going to lose a lot of water, and you're going to sweat out a lot of things that your body needs. So I carry a couple of things in my day bag, and one's potassium, and that's real good for you, and one is 5-HTP. And this may not be something that you know anything about, but you can see right there on the bottle, mood health. And you take this before you go to sleep, and you'll sleep good. That stuff will make you sleep. But what it does is, you can see this word right here, tryptophan. Hydroxytryptophan. Makes you feel good. And one thing you're going to feel out in the wilderness is bad. I promise you that. Now, you can take it and it may not work for you, I don't know. But when you're out in the woods and you're surviving, every little edge will help. And so I carry these along with me. Next, I've got an extra shirt here. One of those stretchy Under Armour shirts that's also insulated. It's long sleeve. Never can tell when you need to change into a warmer shirt when you're out in the woods. And then next I've got my food preparation bag, which goes with these things here. And we'll take a look at that next. For my food prep bag, I've got a Swiss Army knife. It's not the big red thing with all the utensils, but this one's got a screwdriver and a couple of knife blades and whatnot. I've got, in a sealed bag here, I've got matches, a box of matches, and here I've got a salt shaker that's full of salt. And if I go out and I use these, when I go home, the first thing I do after I take a shower is I refill these. Now this says cayenne pepper, but it's definitely not cayenne pepper, although it's probably got a little bit in there. But what I've done here is I put a mixture. Boy, that smells good, just open it. But this is a mixture of maybe a spoonful of cayenne pepper, and it's got black pepper about halfway full, and it's got a spice called Everglades seasoning, which you can buy at Walmart and a lot of places, but especially where we live you can get it at Walmart, at your grocery store, and different places. They sell it all around here, but it's called Everglades seasoning. You can get a can that's red or a can that's green, and the green can's what I get. The red is kind of hot. I mean, it's not hot, but it's supposed to be hot. But that's the difference in the flavors between the red and the green. The green is super good, and I mix it with pepper. And when you're out here in the woods and you have to eat something that you caught or killed, then that's real good to have. and especially salt. I always bring salt with me whether I plan on eating or not. Next up in the bag, you can see everything else that's in there as far as the bottom of the bag goes. And like I told you, I've got 3 or 4 bottles of water, and I've got about 8 or 9 cans of beanie weenies. I always carry food with me. I like to eat out here. Matter of fact, here's some more food prep stuff. This right here, this bottle that you see in here, that's half full of black pepper and half full of Everglades seasoning. This is, that's quite a bit. I've just got it compressed down, but that's quite a bit of aluminum foil. That way if I catch a fish, I can wrap it in that foil, put it on the fire. I've got a video that shows that, but I keep that with me at all times. And then beanie weenies, I can leave these in here for several months. It get hot, cold. Set in my truck for 5 or 6 days, set in my room for a month, and eat these things, and I've never had a problem doing that. If you want an alternative to that, you can take those small cans of spaghetti and meatballs from Chef Boyardee, and you can do the same thing, although I will say that I haven't kept that Chef Boyardee in my bag for months and months and months. Usually if I carry those disappear pretty quick. So but I have kept these in until the label deteriorated, and still ate them and had no problems whatsoever. Now I did that. I'm not telling you to do that, but I'm telling you that I did and had no problems. And I've already made a video on the tomahawk, and that's the only other piece that I've got there. Like I say, this part of the pack here does have salt and pepper in it, and these are in a sealed bag. It's possible that stuff in the food prep bag could get wet, but not these. This salt and pepper combination here is sealed up. And then the last compartment here has some crackers and peanuts, and I have to switch those out from time to time. Fillet knife, which I've got shoved in the side there, so I'm not going to pull that out. So I've got a couple of knives and different things that are redundant, but for the most part these are all necessary items, and that's what I carry in my day pack. Now if I switch over to a camping pack, which is my Marine Corps issued pack, that thing gets full of all kinds of stuff, and we'll look in there later. Change of clothes, dry bag, all kinds of stuff. Tent goes, all kinds of stuff goes in the bigger bag, and we'll take a look at that some other time. Alright, thanks for watching the video. I hope it was a help to you, and if you can be a help to me and give me some pointers about what I should maybe add. I'm always looking for new ideas. Sometimes we get to the place where we feel like we know everything, but I'm always open to get new ideas for my pack or for my my gear that I take to the woods with me, whatever the case may be. I appreciate you watching. Y'all have a good day.